We're looking today at wiring on the X1. You can see this one has nothing in it at the moment, just the holes on the front side, because we took the guts out because something needed to be fixed. And here's the little jig that was made up to help do that. It's the same as the actual guitar, but backwards, so we can get at everything. Now, the reason this had to come out is when you buy cheap little switches out of a rainforest, sometimes they don't want to work very well. We took this one apart. Pretty simple but sophisticated still. Here's our actual switch. There's a spring-loaded, can I get in there? Spring-loaded plunger in there that keeps pressure on this little guy, which presses on our two little metal, which one we'll call them, flappers, and makes or breaks contact between our 6 pins. Autofocus is not being my friend here. There we go. But when your piece is built like crap and the main stem of it goes wonky, you don't get even pressure on those two. So here we are. That's gone. We have new switches. We have a handy dandy wiring diagram. Thank you, Internet. Not a complicated circuit, but it's handy just having things drawn out before you get in here and start playing with multicolored spaghetti and itty bitty tiny wires. And we try switches from an actual guitar place. And now we have another decision. What do you think? Short stem or long stem? Same thing. So let's see how it feels. But here we go. Okay. Very good. Let's not get our old and new switches mixed up. We have the circuit as it was already put together in the guitar. Pretty straightforward. Neck pickup, bridge pickup. We have them attaching with these standard 2-pin connectors. I wasn't sure about these. They don't really have a lock to them, but it's very lightweight wire. There is some decent pull-out force. They've been okay so far. On our template here, we have the positions marked. I should probably put something there to fasten that in to hold it for me so I don't need the extra hand. The big fun here is that all this has to fit into this by the time we get done. Barely 3/4 inch square. The capacitors we use for these things are kind of chunky. I don't know why. I don't think we're storing that much juice in these things, but that's how they go. This is a simple setup: pickup, volume control, tone control, input jack. And the switch selects which of our hot leads from the pickups go up to, looks like it actually went, that decides which goes to the tone, input of the tone pot, which is bridged to the input of the volume control. The tone pot, if the wire hadn't broken, would bleed through the capacitor to ground. But all that has to get fixed. So if we look close, oh yeah, there's old solder and old wire wrapped around that. But first we need to make sure the switch does what I want. It's usually labeled on. Great. I want to connect one thing or the other thing or both things. But why do I have 6 connections here? There should be 2 inputs and 1 out. Well, for the moment, we're going to set up in the hole just to see. Let's set up so you can see that. Alright. Our switch is set to the middle. Saying on, we should expect everything connected. Hey, come here. Those are not connected. Those are. So what is now my right side, I switched this way, or no, I'm in the middle, right. Those 2 are connected. I bet you on the other side, the opposite pair are connected. Yes, but not that corner. There we go. There's a feature of these switches. Center position, a pair of contacts from one corner are connected, a pair of contacts from the other corner are connected, but not the opposite corners. That gives you some choices. So I'm going to switch toward me in the current orientation. So I have nothing between the contacts that are near me. On either side. The contacts opposite me, both pairs are connected. Hey, where'd you go? There you are. We should note that side to side is not connected. This is a double pole, double throw switch. The 2 poles are independent. So anyway, the switch went near me, contacts opposite me were connected, and that's just because there's a lever going on inside here. It's able to push down over here to make that contact. Just double check the other way. Yep. And good. Yes, that's a fluke. Trust me, they got cheap these days. But good. Those used to be $600 to start. You can get models for $110 now. And they work. So let's get in here pretty tight. Alright, there we go. We have some desoldering and soldering to do to get this all where it needs to be. Here's my trusty complete overkill 100-watt soldering iron. While that one's up, I can share something I learned on the way of getting a engineering degree. One of these slightly useful bits of trivia. Solder is any material I use to join materials, joining metals, that melts at less than half the melting point of the base materials. Braze is something that melts between half the melting point and the melting point of the said materials. And when we weld, we're using similar materials. The filler and both base materials. Anyway, here's solder. Here's something I didn't know about for a long time. Desoldering wick. Oh, and also flux. Which hasn't been opened in a while. Seriously? Well, if it's going to be that way. Oh yeah, it's going to be really uncooperative. Come here again. There we go. Yes. A low flux helps with our heat transfer. We'll put some on the desoldering wick. Desoldering wick, just a copper mesh. It really likes to soak up solder. Let's get you out of the way for a moment. So, I'm going to try to heat that up while pressing against the lug. See if it wants to take up that solder that's in there. Yes, it did. Maybe a little more. There's a clean hole through there. That's what I really need. Now this is the wire. Comes from our capacitor, which bleeds to our big old ground rod here. We just want to get that wire back in there. I think 28 gauge on my stripper should do it. Sorry, like most YouTubers, I'm learning we have to take care of our nails. Mine are clean today, thankfully. I was taught going back to junior high, a good solder joint starts by being mechanically good before you add the solder. So we're going to pass, oh, I lost it. Pass the wire through the hole. There we go, that's helpful. Get something in there to move it. Fold that over. Bring it like to get to really tie that, but I don't think I'm going to get that done today. Alright, this should be okay. Although I'm going to bring it to the inside a little bit. Because for fit, we're going to have to get it over there anyhow. Now, heat things up with the solder gun. Put the solder, keep a little solder on the tip, but add solder to the joint, not the gun. For best results. I cheat all the time anyway. Alright. Now our switch, because we're going to use one side on the up, one side on the down. We need to bridge the two so that the center position joins both. I need a little jumper. So I have a kit of small diameter wire I bought for this whole purpose. I think I've abused my nippers there. That's a shame. Not sure what I was doing with them. But now I need to strip this little tiny guy. Ain't gonna be much left. That's okay. Same deal as before. I would like to wrap that around. The trickier bit is the other side now. Wrap it around, get it tucked in there. Something small in there, yeah. That's what they do with that. Okay. Now, don't want loose strands in there. They don't have to be neatly tied or any such thing. So long as when I'm done with the soldering gun, everything is kept in place. So we're going to solder one side. Since I have it out, why not? Touch of flux. Sure you can see. Okay. Just gonna have to sit on top of it for the moment. Try to angle the solder in there so it gets to where the wire is living. Probably just only put a little solder on the gun. Like I said, we all cheat. But come on. I think she's flowing now. And my fingers are getting hot. Okay. That seems to have filled up where I wanted it to reasonably well. Ooh, and that is hot. Well, no, I won't pull that wire out of the way just yet. I'm going to hook these loose strands up, I think. Top. Okay. Now, so, as we said, the input from each pickup, or output from each pickup, input to the switch, has to go here. Just have to remember when I put the switch toward me, these two are connected, and I want the bridge pickup to hit that. Okay? When I switch that way toward the neck pickup, that actually has to hit the lug on the switch farther away. Just gotta get that wound up enough. I don't like that extra little guy. Gotta give it more than I need here, and that's all right. I can trim that off. Come on. There we go. I think that got all around there. Yeah, so I like that. Maybe you can see better. A little bit extra. That's why we have these flat cutting little nippers. And now I'm going to do what's the output of the switch. Using this wire that already got used once. Gonna be a little tight. Just get that through where the other white wire already is. Clean up a bit. Oh, missed. Okay, wrap around there. Doesn't have to be full circle or anything. All that's going to get flooded in a second, we hope. Well, that wasn't good. This ball of flux has been around half as long as me, I would bet. But now there's a lot less of it. Okay. It's sticky too. Okay, that looks to be totally flooded up full of solder. I like it. One thing we're going to do is move our jumper wire out of the way. I should mention this hurts a bit because it's hot. Well, that hardness is all messy. Now the other pickup. That also was already used once. Oh, this is all messy. I keep paper towel right above the workbench. Let's not keep that near the soldering iron. Okay, what was I doing? I was trimming you. Come on. Oh, wait. I got through. Wrap it around. No. Like that. That will do ya. All right. I think that's everybody now. Okay. We're going to clean up this mess a bit later. In the meantime, let's get all this transferred into the actual guitar. Alright, we got our guts there to go in. Need to get everything out. you'll see why it was important to do all this in position. Now it should all fall pretty well straight into place. You just have to get the pickup leads advanced up into the body a ways. Where are you at? Always got ways to go. This was never going to be the fun part. The short one should be easy, relatively. It's like real close. Should be able to see it through this hole. I decided not to make you watch me fish these connectors through here. Just know that it took a few swear words and some funky little pliers. Now we gotta get all the rest of the guts back in here where they go. Oh, and one little extra bit of fun. The ground lead from one of the pickups snapped off of the blob. That's one of the disappointing things about guitar building. If you do it the way it's traditionally done, all the grounds come to just one big blob on the back of a pot, and it looks crude. It is crude. We must admit it's effective, provided everything stays put. Trying to remember which way we decided to do that switch. Oh, this guy probably has to go in first just to make room. That joint's no good either. Okay. A little more solder work. Wasn't my best day when I put this together, I guess. Might as well do this till it's held in place. This tab is actually going to touch the body of the guitar. That's okay. Grounded body insulates the whole thing from noise. Okay. To make sure that's okay. Seems to be all right. That looks about good, except for, as we said, this loose guy that belongs on the blob. No big deal joining that on there, but we need to keep everything else out of the way. And I have something to help me with that. One of these ought to work. Get y'all out the way. Y'all still see that yet? Not real well, I know, but there's the blob. Like that. That's a little better. This is really, really thin wire. In this case, I want to tin the wire first, if I can get on it. Going to lay some solder in the tip. Just wire through it until it, ow, 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 hurts my hand. Hopefully it makes, I think it makes sense to run that wire underneath these other guys. Get all that solder. Hey now, come here. Oh, he jumped off. Jerk. Just need to hold that down there until I get a bond. Like so, I hope. Sorry, y'all probably can't see very well. For the pots, there's a tang that sticks up and comes into that hole. These washers got all mucked up with the rosin. Alright, those are all snugged up, well enough. Use those. Let's look at our pickups. This standard body holds any standard humbucker and then attaches to the rails, and then has our wires. Oh, I was backwards for a second. Okay. the extra in here as we go. Make sure it's not pinched. Okay. Let's do this guy again. We need to be a little careful. There's only a small amount of aluminum in these threads. More than enough to hold a pickup in place for all of eternity, but enough that a not very strong monkey with a screwdriver could strip these out. Yeah. A little more torque on those just to check. Okay. On the point of the strength of that threaded connector, pretty soon I'll be taking a look at this pattern of bolts, which happens many times on the instrument. It is that way because I can make a jig for that. I'm going to show you just how strong that can be. Just got to borrow some stuff from work and rig up a fixture. Alright, now the really fun part. There's an awful lot to do before you can actually hear one of these things. Let's back up and watch that being done. Hopefully we're done with these sides. So, after all that, in a quick tune, we have the instrument plugged into a cheap old pawn shop amp. Let's see, that's probably good. Let's see if it works. want to grunge it up a little bit. Okay, up and down. So there, everything works. We got the range of tone we expect. Still not sure about that baby switch. But, more about that tomorrow. That's all for today.